Hannah Bladh, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you here because when I look at your art, I am jealous, but in a very good way. Like your painting style and the things that you make me feel with your work is what I wish I could do.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I wish I had your painterly style. Your brushstrokes seem so like economical.
Thank you.
Like so much thought goes into every one.
Yeah.
I don't know if it does.
Yeah, no, it's true. It does. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what I feel. I mean, when I see your pieces, you take things that are very normal, everyday stuff,
Yep.
and make me feel some sort of emotion about it.
Thank you.
And I think that's a really special gift.
Thank you.
Right? So, painterly style, did you always have that, or is this something that's kind of...
No, I feel like naturally I'm very, very tight. Like I've kind of just always been painting. My parents, like I took art lessons like all growing up and stuff. So it was very, I just have always been painting, and I feel like I used to just like be very like every blade of grass and like kind of a thing. And I think that's like a little perfectionism. I was like, well, if it gets perfect looking, then it'll be better, right? And I think like I went to school for art, and so I just think like with it, I was like, wait, but I like this a little more, and but it is that like challenge of like, I mean, trying to make each brushstroke count, because it's I don't know, I feel like in general looseness feels like more like loosey-goosey, but in my head I'm more like, okay, like I'm gonna do this one and then I'm gonna leave it, which is really hard.
Really hard. Yeah, that's what I mean. You have, when I see your stuff, it looks like it has like a lot of thought. It's very intentional.
Thank
Every
you.
brushstroke. We have a piece here behind us, the Bluebell piece. I can see the brushstrokes, and with every one, I can see like intention with it.
Thank you.
And that's really hard. I think a lot of artists tend to overwork things, right?
Yeah. And I still have lots that I'm like, probably went a little too far on that one, like for my taste, like, you know, and, but I think it still like happens all the time, but I'm still, it's something that's always like in my head where I'm like, oh, I got it, that brush stroke is great, I gotta leave it, or like, I don't know, just kind of work with it in a more intentional way, because I do feel like naturally I want to like tighten it up and like write each letter on it, or like, you know, things like that, and make it like perfect. But
yeah. Well, one of the things that I really love, and this is the thing that I wish I could do myself, is it's a painting, and you know it's a painting, but it's representational, but it's not realism.
Yeah,
you know, it's just right. It's just right amount of paint.
Thank you.
And it's not overdone in any way. It's one of those things where you step back from a distance and you're like, oh, I know exactly what that is. And then when you get up close, you see, oh man, yeah, you can see every stroke.
Yeah. I have like my little ones. I do a lot of little work, probably mostly just like for time reasons. But I feel like in my little stuff, a lot of times at markets and things, people will be like, oh my gosh, I thought they were photos from far away, because they are so small. They're like 4x4. And then they get in and they're like, wait, there's like so much brushstrokes. It's kind of fun.
Right.
Like you can really tell when it's little.
Yeah.
The
And
difference.
that's part of the fun as a viewer, I think,
Yeah.
when you see something like that. Like I have one of your pieces here that I got, that it is very small, right? But when you get up close to it, you can see every little brushstroke there. And it's just, from a distance, it looks like a photograph. And then when you get up close, you notice, of course, it's a painting. And
Thank you.
that's really hard. That's really hard to pull off, I think. I've never been able to do it myself. Did you kind of stumble into that, or did you? I mean, you said you went to art school.
Yeah, I think what happened was my taste changed. Like I had some. I just feel like my professors, like I just loved their stuff, and it was so very intentionally loose, like just like super focused on like edges and like things like that. And I was like, that's crazy. You can really not just aim for as tight and as realistic as possible, but you can aim for like a bunch of other things, and that makes it look so rich. And so I feel like that's where I was like, wait, I like want to try this. And I think like through a lot of, experimentation and like I said, I still feel like I'm trying. Like sometimes I still push it a little farther than I like, but I like to kind of have that squint and you definitely know what it is, but like have it be loose enough to be very clearly a painting. But
right. Yeah, well, you're knocking that out of the
No,
park,
thanks.
I'd say. Another thing that your work does, which I think is really profound, is that you take super ordinary things and make people feel something. Like I remember a Whataburger cup.
Yeah.
Just the Whataburger, like, you've seen that a million times.
Yeah.
But have you ever seen it painted?
Yeah.
And have you ever seen like so much intention behind it? And you're like, oh yeah, let me just sit and look at this Whataburger cup for a minute. And it sounds kind of corny to say, but there's beauty in that.
Yeah, thank you.
Just everyday, normal things, nostalgic things. I see a lot of nostalgia in your pieces.
Definitely. I like just romanticizing the everyday stuff and just, it makes my life feel a little more exciting. I don't know, because I'm like, oh, like this Friday night Whataburger trip is now like a special memory. And like I think that there's so much shared emotion around like all the everyday stuff that people don't realize. And so it's cool when I like talk to people about my art or when they see it and I can like they'll be like, wow, this like feels like a very specific memory I have, but like it's not mine, but like it's cool. Yeah.
It's not yours, but you feel like it could be.
Yeah.
And then
it was kind of fun.
I found myself saying, wait, is that my memory? I was looking over your stuff the other day and I just happened to come upon your series of food.
Oh yeah.
And I hadn't eaten and my mouth started to water and I'm looking at these Oreo cookies and the peanut butter cookies with the little chocolate Hershey kiss in the middle. And it's just like, you just want it, and but those moments, like those specific cookies, when I think of those, I think of my grandma.
Yeah.
And I think she was the only one who ever had those at her house. I don't know why. Or you see the Oreos, and I remember that was like at the end of a day, a glass of milk, little Oreo cookies, and like, you had a good day if you got some Oreos. And it just, I have memories of that, but I'm not sure if that specific one is mine. Either way, it's shared.
Yeah. It's like just such a cool, I don't know, common thread, like all the everyday things that we all are like, and a lot of like little landscapes and things that I do, people will be like, I don't know if I've been here, but I'm pretty sure I have. Like, even if it's like not like, anyway, just like capturing the like, oh, I sat at a stoplight with these like kind of a, kind of a thing. And they're like, I never would have thought it was beautiful, but look, I like it.
It's
like,
beautiful. Yeah.
Just kind of cool.
I've seen several of your landscapes that look like just everyday, snapshots.
Yeah.
Do you take pictures for reference, or do you come from? Okay, you do.
Yeah, so I do. They're very like, I'm definitely not a photographer. They're not like great pictures, but I just like for that particular series, like the little ones in the black frames was a 100-day project that I did. So I did one a day for 100 days, and it was right around when my husband and I first moved here, which was I think in 2021 I did it. So it was like my way to get to know the area. And so I was just kind of like, everywhere I went, I'd just be like, oh, like this is a cool little sunset. Or like, oh, look how nice that looks. I like that. Kind of just trying to appreciate and capture like the vibe of here. And so.
Cool. Well, actually, let me pull this up again. Sorry.
Yeah.
This one has a story for me too. Like when I got saved a few years ago, I was driving home from this retreat that I had been to where it like the Holy Spirit dawned on me. Yeah. And as I was driving home, from Livingston to Conroe, and I saw at least 20 of these church signs. I had never seen a church sign in my life.
You're like, they're everywhere.
And then they just started popping up. And I felt like
cool.
that was confirmation for me, like, okay, yes, this is the path.
Yeah.
This is the way for me.
Like, good idea. Yes.
Yeah. And then when I saw this painting, I actually have seen it before. And when I saw it the other day, I was like, I better get that.
Yeah.
Because
Thank you.
that memory is, whether it's something specific or not, like people can connect.
Yeah.
That's the thing about your work. I think anybody can connect to the everyday objects,
Yeah,
right?
thank you. Yeah, I do really like that. There's some times where I'm like, oh man, I'm not very like whimsical. Like maybe I should try more like fun things. And then I just always get brought back to like, I really like this. I don't know. And I think, you have to go with what you're really into. And I'm just obsessed with like regular stuff or like toys and things like that.
Yeah. Well, I think that's part of finding your lane as an artist. In fact, that's one thing that I've found from sitting down with artists and talking about their work is like the real magic happens when you find what your lane is, what you're really good at, and how what specific mood you can create. Now, that doesn't mean you can't do other things.
Yeah, totally.
And lots of people do.
Yeah.
But if you're an artist who's trying to brand yourself, you're trying to sell your art, I think that really helps.
Yeah, totally.
Because when I think of Hannah Bladh, I automatically think of nostalgia, everyday moments, everyday objects, but beauty within them.
Thank you. That's cool. It's nice to be like, oh, good. It's working.
It's working. Yeah. So it doesn't mean you don't have, but there's other people doing the whimsical thing. And there's other people doing the abstracts. There's you got to find whatever it is that moves for you.
And I really feel like, whatever you're into is going to be the best stuff you make. Like, it's just like we were kind of talking about before, like just whatever you're like really excited about, that's going to be the good stuff. And so, which I think I'm really excited about this, which is, and like, maybe one day it'll kind of shift, but
well, I think it does, right? It always evolves.
Yeah.
Ebbs and flows.
And I like very like into landscapes for a bit, and then like really super into still life and like things like that. And it totally does meander.
And so your still lifes, so you take photographs for the landscapes and whatnot. For your still lifes, how do you do that? You have a little studio set up at home?
So it kind of depends. If it's something I'm doing like all at once, then I a lot of times just have like a little setup, and then I'll just place it on there and kind of like put the light on it and arrange it and do it like from life. But then if it's a more complex one, like some of my like big food series ones, I'll like do a big photo shoot and like move stuff around and like have a bunch of pictures to kind of work from, and then do it from a photo from there. But I always like to do my own references or just like from life sort of thing. Yeah.
Cool. Well, that reminds me of one of the big projects you did recently. One of the ones that caught my eye. I mean, a lot of your stuff catches my eye, but you're really good with the social media stuff and
I ebb and flow in my like consistency, but thank you.
Yeah, well, I think when you choose these challenges like you did, it makes you be.
Yes, absolutely.
So you did this 30 days in a row of painting still lifes of toys that your toddler picked out, right? So can you explain that a little bit? Like,
so, well, it started because, I don't know if you've heard of Strata easels. They're great, like travel easels. Yeah,
I've heard
so
of
they
them.
do like a challenge every January and September where they like, it's like paint from life every day and like post about it. And I've done that several times, and I really like it. I love like consistency, and the like daily project thing is totally my jam, because I like the structure of it and a little less like having to think a ton about like, or like make up something new every time. Anyway, so I really liked that aspect, and I've done it several times before, and I was like, I want to do something a little bit different this time. I'm really like, my daughter, she'll be 3 in June, so like feel very in the thick of motherhood. I'm like mostly stay-at-home mom, and then I do as much art as I can. But so I was like, I want to like incorporate like that part of my life, sort of a thing. So I asked her every day to pick me out one of her toys to paint, and for the most part, just whatever she picked. There were a couple of times where she was like this piece of chalk. I'm like, we'll try one more time. Like, maybe not that, but like, but for the most part, I just picked whatever she did. Occasionally, I'd like add some things to it, like to the composition. But for the most part, I just picked what she did, and I'd like set it up, have a little lamp on it, and then do that, and I like recorded myself every day, being like, okay, it's day 18 of 31, letting my toddler choose what I paint from life today. What'd you pick today?
Princess Sparkles.
Princess Sparkle Eyes. That's what we call her anyway. I don't think she's like a character or something. Pretty sure she doesn't have like an actual name. So she's Princess Sparkle Eyes to us. She was given to us, so I'm not positive on that. But she's a pretty cutie. We had a good time painting her today. I really liked the colors. Thought they were really fun. Probably wouldn't have ever paired the like super bright yellow and blue with the pastel-y pink and purple. But I think it's pretty cute. She's just got the biggest eyes ever that are like slightly kind of cross-eyed, but in like a cute way, I think. Yeah, I enjoyed the little highlights in her eyes. There's like 3 of them, and one of them are in the shape of a heart, which I thought was so cute. Anyway, so here's another silly little toy, Princess Sparkle Eyes. We had a good time. So, which always like felt a little cringy, but I like it, and I like the, you know, yeah. I like whenever I see people in other videos, so I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna do this, and I think it's better, but yeah, there's always like that self-consciousness where I'm like,
sure.
But it's good.
Well, that's funny that you say that because it seemed like very natural to me. It didn't come across as like cringy, like you're feeling cringy while you're doing it. It just felt like you're just talking to the camera, which is something that people do now. Like, it's pretty normal. You'll be walking down the street, you'll see someone like, so, okay.
It's true. It's true. It feels funny, but yeah, and I think I got more used to it as the month went on, and it was a lot more comfy as I went, but yeah.
And so you were painting toys, right?
Yes.
Is this one of them?
Yes, this is one of them.
Show it to the camera here.
Okay,
show it to this one.
This one.
Yeah.
So this was like one of her it's a little dinosaur puzzle one. And so this one like probably took, I don't know if it was the longest, but it was like, I massively underestimated how like detail oriented this would be, like without, because I don't know, because I wanted it to like very clearly read as puzzle pieces, but also not be like so, you know, overworked or like, anyway, so I was trying to, it was a tough one because I was like, well, they are tiny pieces and I have to like show that, but I want, anyway, so that was kind of a fun one. But yeah, just like this dinosaur puzzle. I did a bunch of like little people, like her little people toys that she has.
I remember Tigger. That was my favorite one. Because I grew up with Tigger, you know. I had little Tigger. He was one of my favorites.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
And one of the things that I really like about those still lifes, I started to notice it more in that toy series, is that the shadow and the light, right? You have a really good grasp of lighting.
Thank you.
And so when those, I'm guessing you directed the lighting in your setup.
Yeah, so I have a little lamp, and I would kind of like point it however I wanted. But I do, in most of my work, like a really strong sort of a shadow, like with still life. Obviously, landscape, you can't control it as much if you're just snapping it. But yeah, I really like to have like a strong light in a dark, and I just feel like it gives me a lot more room to like play with the values and things.
Yeah, that's a really striking thing. That's something you notice in all of your still lifes. A lot with the food. You know, that sense of depth and shadow.
Thank you.
There's a couple other ones that I really liked. The one of the I think it was a commission piece, a kid on the football field kneeling with the light in the background. That is really cool. I just love that super bright light source.
Thank you. That was actually part of I did another like little series. I love to have some sort of direction. So that was a series I did that I called In Their Element, where it was, I asked people like on my social media, friends and family, to just send me in pictures of their loved ones, like doing like their thing, you know, because I like doing portraits and stuff, and I like portraits that are, you know, like more formal or whatever, but I really like portraits that are like, they're active and like doing their thing. That's just like so them. It kind of captures that. So that was one that someone sent in to me. She did buy it, which was very sweet. So,
cool. That's even better.
Yeah, so she has it. And but it's cool to kind of capture that.
Yeah, now that you say that, going back and thinking of those definitely a lot of people in moments.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the toddler, I don't know if it was yours or not, picking up a flower or something, picking
yeah,
up something.
yeah.
You've seen kids do that where you're like, what is going through their mind?
So focused,
Like,
all in it. Yeah.
This thing that I found on the ground,
Yeah.
Another one from that series that I really liked was the girl on the rock wall.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Yeah, where it looked like you used like thicker paint to
Yeah,
get the
I
depth
did,
of
to
those
kinda-
pegs or whatever they call
Yeah.
those.
Well, and like with that one, I feel like I remember the wall being. I was like, oh, is it? How can I make it interesting enough? Like, because there's like the rocks and things, but otherwise it's pretty like kind of a flat, tan sort of. I think it's tan, like sort of a wall. So yeah, just adding depth or things to kind of help bring out some of that interest. Yeah.
Yeah. So how often do you paint people? And I'm thinking of your booth because we know each other from First Saturday
Yes,
Art Market.
yeah.
Shout out to Mitch again.
Yeah.
Mitch is so famous. Also know you from here, the Artist Gallery, the Art in the Woods,
Yes.
which is on the
Love
third
it.
Saturday of the month. Just know you from the circuit, seeing you around. And when I see your booth, it's mostly still lifes, landscapes, that sort of thing.
Yeah. So a lot of. I have a few from that In Their Element series that, that I did, and some people didn't buy, that I have in my booth, but kind of like tucked away that people can kind of like leaf through, and more as an example of like, hey, this is like, if you'd like a commission, this is what my portraits look like, sort of a
Right.
thing. I don't know why I don't so much sell like. This is someone like a lot of like portraiture for other people. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Well,
not that there's anything wrong with it, but I just in my head I'm like, well, I don't know this person, which I'm sure that there's a lot of like someone who does that kind of thing would probably be like, it doesn't matter. The same thing with your food. They find shared memories and like,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I just always kind of keep portraits to like commissions and things like that.
Yeah. Well, I think it's
Or that personal project I did, but
sure. Well, I think it's probably harder to sell a portrait of someone you
Yeah.
don't know.
yeah.
It's, when you have more obscure persons in it. So if you're not like showing the full face, maybe
Yeah.
from behind or the side,
Yeah.
unless you're doing something that's really whimsical or
Right.
something. So when I was seeing those figures, I was like, oh, she's really good at this too.
Thank
So
you.
That's cool. You've done a lot of different projects on Instagram. Another one that you did was 30-minute painting challenge. That was one that I liked.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So where you had to, you only gave yourself 30 minutes to
Yes.
do something, right? That
Yeah.
probably works well as being a stay-at-home mom, right?
Yes, it does. That was another me like trying to, do my pockets of time, like something. I'm like, I really want to do more of the 30-minute sort of painting ones. And I like the challenge of like trying to finish it in that amount of time, or at least, get it to where it's at and then call it good. There was someone at school. There was an artist who like came and did like an artist talk sort of a thing. Her name is Denise Gosser, I believe. She's great. I love her work. And like she did this whole series called Art After, and it was like art after motherhood. And she like had these 5x7s, and she would like paint as much as she could, and then like whatever she got interrupted by, she'd like write it on the back and then like be done with that piece. And so it was just like a bunch of, anyway, it was really cool. And so I liked that kind of like got my, I was thinking about that and like the wheels turning of like, okay, like how can I try and work with what I've got and make it, make it something enjoyable and fun and,
Yeah.
purposeful. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you have a pretty good knack of putting together the reels, like the short videos. I think like probably your generation is better at that than any other right now. Is that something you've always been able to do, or is that something you learned to like supplement your art?
I definitely, I feel like I grew up around a lot of like videoing happening. Like I have 3 older brothers, and they're very like into, like have always been into like film and things like that. And so I feel like I grew up around a lot of like videoing and like that kind of a thing. But I definitely would not say that it's like a talent of mine that I've ever, but it's kind of like a necessity of like, oh my God, well,
Right.
I gotta do something and put something up there. I don't know.
That's funny because a lot of artists I've talked to have that same feeling.
Yeah.
Like, man, I guess I got to do something. I have to, but you kind of have to now.
Yeah.
Like if you
Yeah.
want, there's not too many people who can be well-known artists without doing any sort of social media now.
It's true. It's true. And it's like, it's a good, like, it's an amazing thing in a lot of ways. Like, especially when I did my series with my toddler, I got like a solid chunk of followers. I couldn't tell you how many, but, and like a ton of engagement, more than I've had on like any other things. And like, just like a bunch of people I never would have met being like, this is so cool, and like, oh my gosh, this reminds me of like my little dress up shoes, and just like really cool connection points that I wouldn't have been able to do otherwise, which is cool, but it is definitely like, it can be tough to want to do it.
Well, it pulls at your heartstrings a little bit too, to be honest. In fact, if you go further through your feed, you go back a little ways, there's one video that just makes my hair stand up. It's you painting on the left and your daughter painting on the right. Just melts your heart, you know, you're watching that. And I think people really respond to that. Like, oh yeah, mom and dad, they're having this moment. And you know, you could tell your daughter's super into it. She thinks she's in it to win it. Yeah, man. And you're serious too. You're doing your thing. You both got your aprons on. And then you think of like the memories. Well, maybe she'll have memories of this, maybe she won't, but she'll have the video. And not only that, but the artwork. Right? You know? I know you've sold several of them, but and you can buy them all, right, on your website. Right. But she'll always have that to look back on. I think that's really cool.
And I kept two, like, that I was like, these are special, and like they're hanging in her room. So like those ones. And I thought about doing maybe like a poster or something with all of them to like hang in her room, just to kind of commemorate that whole project with her. But yeah, I do feel like that was another comment that I got pretty repeatedly, was like, how cool for your daughter to like do this. And like, she's almost 3, so it's like she's like 2.5 when I did this. And yeah, she probably won't totally remember it, but I think she'll remember the involvement of it, and she'll remember her pictures on the wall, sort of a thing, and like the story of that. But yeah,
and also that she got to pick out the items.
Yes, and I'm sure I'll do it many more times too, because it was really fun.
Yeah, well, was there one that you liked more than any of the others, the way it turned out or the subject? Or I told you Tigger was my favorite. But
I think as far as like nostalgia, as like motherhood sort of a way, the ones that I saved was the one of her little baby doll, which she just like carries it everywhere, and just like the sweetest little toddler mom, like, you know, like changes her clothes. It's very sweet. And so she just brings her baby everywhere. So that was one that I was like, I gotta keep that one. I don't know if it's like my favorite, like painting of it, like, but then the other one I kept was, it was a little purse that's like a little woven purse sort of a thing, and it was actually something I had when I was growing up. So there's like a picture of me at a tea party with my mom with like this bag and sort of a thing. So I was like, oh, that's cool that she's playing with this and cares about enough to pick it for the thing. So I kept that one too. As far as like ones that I like looking at the most, so that I'm like, ooh, yeah, I do think this dinosaur one was like, it was, I feel like one of the ones that was like, oh, I'm really not sure how I'm going to do this. And I like that. Like, that always makes me fonder of something. But I'm like, ooh, I was really nervous and like, ooh. But then it actually turned out pretty cool. And like, so this one, there's another like one with little dress-up shoes, the little purple dress-up shoes, and they're like transparent. And that was another one that I was like, oh, you really want to pick this one? Okay. Like, I was nervous about it. And it was like later at night that she picked it. And I was like, do I have time to like do this justice? But I did really enjoy that one too. So that was another one that I was like, I think I like the ones that I'm like, oh, this is tricky, and we'll see how it goes. Yeah.
Well, it is problem solving, right? Yeah. And so that's another thing that I noticed. I'm guessing that you use like very minimal, well, I know you use minimal brush strokes, but it seems like the size of brushes you use are probably pretty uniform, like maybe the same size.
I do. I pretty much just use like if I'm working on this kind of a size, 5x7, 4x4, something like that, I have like a 1/2 inch flat that I really like. And that's kind of what I do for most of it. And I think that helps me keep it a little looser or have some of those more like accidental like marks that I'm like later sort of a thing.
Yeah, that's kind of your signature brushstroke, and that there's not too many artists that you can recognize by their brushstrokes.
Thank you.
There are a few, and I love that.
Yeah.
Like I said, I wish I could do
Thank
that. I don't have the discipline. But yeah, when I see it, you can see, and I know you have a video series on your website too, where you teach people how to paint.
Yeah.
So I think that's in there. You say that you only use the three primaries in white, right?
Yeah.
In terms of color.
Yeah, in my own work, so I like to do that for like my teaching things, and just because I feel like a lot of times people are like, well, I need all these colors so that I can start painting, but like you really just need these, and then you can mix them, and obviously there's like different things you can go for, like, you know, if you have this kind of like a cadmium red and an ultramarine blue, you're not really going to get like a pretty purple, but like, you know, let's just like working with what you have. I don't know, I like that kind of an aspect of it. But for myself, my palette, usually I have white, and then I have like a brighter yellow, like I think a lemon yellow is what I use, and then like a yellow ochre sort of a one, and then I have like a warm and a cooler red, so I have like a cadmium red, and then a magenta, and then I have a blue, like an ultramarine blue, and then what's the one? Like a cerulean sort of a something.
Yeah.
And then I usually have like brown, a little bit of brown on there, because I love ultramarine and brown to make like my darkest darks. That's kind of usually what
But still very minimal.
But still, yeah, I like to kind of do the primaries, but just like a warm and a cool sort of version of each. And then I feel like I can get pretty much anything I want from there. But yeah.
That bodes well for the final product, because again, there is a simplicity in the work.
Yeah.
It's not overdone. Yeah, it's not over mixed either. Like it's just right.
Thank you. You kind of always tell that it's from the same kind of colors over and over.
Yeah. And so teaching, is that something you teach in video form, right?
Yeah, I haven't done a ton of, I used to have like a membership where I release a new one every month. I kind of fizzled out with that. So I don't do like videos all the time. What I do a lot now is I do paint along parties, like things like that. I mostly do it for like apartment complexes as like events, like resident events.
Yeah.
My husband is in like property management, so like that's kind of, he was like, we do events all the time, like you should reach out to people. And I was like, oh, okay, sure.
Yeah.
And I do really like it. I don't have a ton like on my website or social media about it, but I love like teaching people that are like, they're always like, oh, I can't draw a stick figure.
They always say that.
That's the line, right?
They always say that.
But I love being like, no, like with the right instruction and a little bit of practice, you absolutely can, which is really cool for me to see. Like I like taking people on that journey, even if it's like in a, you know, kind of party sort of scenario. And there's always people who are like, definitely don't care at all. But then there's people who are like, oh my gosh, like I did this and I'm really proud. So I like that kind of a moment. Yeah.
That's cool. Awesome. And you talked a little bit too about that you went to school for art. So tell me about that. Did you always know you wanted to be an artist? You wanted to go to art school? Is that, you said you've been painting since you were young?
Yeah, I kind of have just always really loved painting. I think, I always did it, and when it came time to decide my major and stuff, I was just like, well, I really like painting. I'm just gonna go for it. So I just kind of did. My parents are very have always been very supportive of like the arts and things like that. So I didn't have any sort of like, oh, is this realistic? Like, which was good. Like,
yeah, good.
I didn't have any of that like kind of fear going into it. They were like, yeah, you can do it, sure. And so that kind of helped me to be like, well, I love it, so what else would I pick? I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so what is your degree? Is it
So it's bachelor's in arts, and it's just emphasis in painting.
Painting? Okay.
Yeah.
And I think we've kind of alluded to it, but you're an oil painter. That's what you work in, mostly oil. Yeah. And this piece behind us is a good example of that, right? Of everything we've been talking about, the painterly. These are all Bluebell ice cream gallon, or what do they call them? Tubs?
Little half gallons. Yep.
So when I first moved here, I'm from Chicago, and when I moved here a few years ago, I was hearing all this stuff about Bluebell. Have you had Bluebell? Have you been to Bluebell? We're going to Bluebell. You want to go?
What?
I was like, "Oh, what is this?" And then I had Bluebell.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, I
It
get
is.
it.
It is a whole thing.
Yeah, it is really good. It's really
Yeah.
good. So that like, again, when you see that,
Yeah.
you're like, oh, which one am I going to choose?
Yes,
You know?
and it's like that excitement of like, oh, I know this aisle in the grocery store.
Yes.
Like, oh, like this is the like Friday night, like picking out a little something
Right.
sweet, you know, and
Fully equipped with the Texas flag up here.
yes. There was a guy that came into my booth, like I think it's like the last market I was at, and he was like, I work at HEB, and I know I'm like almost positive this is my HEB because it's scary how much it looks like it. And I'm like, oh, that's
Right.
so fun because it's got like the Texas tag that they do some. I don't know if
Yeah.
it's like a sale thing they do sometimes or what, but
Yeah,
yeah.
totally. We've all been there. And
Which is
look,
kinda fun.
even some of them are gone. Looks like
Yeah.
that one's gone. And this look reflection off the glass. Looks like, yeah.
Yeah,
And
and
you
like
nailed it.
there's a part of me that like really has to be like, okay, it's cool because I'm like, oh, is it perfectly straight? Like, is it a little higher up here than it is over here? But I'm like, it's okay, it's all right, I'm fine. Like,
Right.
And I probably could correct it if I wanted to, but like kind of that stepping back helps me keep the.
Yeah. Well, I think that's
What's that
also
like?
part of the intrigue is that it doesn't have to be perfect.
Yeah, yeah.
Because, what it triggers in the mind are memories and thoughts, and they're not
Yes.
perfect either.
Yes.
In fact, a
They're
lot of them are
blurry too.
a
Yeah.
lot of them are made up.
Yeah.
We're just kind of piecing things together.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, I think you did a great job on that.
Thank you.
One other thing I wanted to ask you about. I noticed in your booth that you really have a lot of smaller pieces. Right? This one that we're looking at, this is probably the biggest one I've seen.
Yeah.
Is that on purpose, or is that?
Yes, I think I do really like painting small. Again, it kind of like using a bigger brush, painting small. I mean, not that a half inch is huge, but it's it's bigger-ish when you're on something this small, sort of a thing.
Right.
But I like that sort of a thing, and I have a harder time like feeling that whenever I like get a big brush in like a bigger one, and it's also so it's a that thing, like what I'm comfortable with. It's also like the time of life that I'm in that I feel like I really like finishing paintings, and I have a harder time like getting into the studio and like working on like one. And like this one I did before I had my daughter. And
Okay,
and
gotcha. When you had more
so,
time.
Yes, and so I had a little more time, and I don't know. Before I did this series, I was like, I need to start painting big, because I think a lot of, like in my head, especially like at markets and things, I'm like, everyone else has bigger works. Like I need to probably do bigger things, like fill up my walls a little easier, sort of a thing. I mean, not like easier, because big work is hard too, but
Yeah.
just in like there's less work, like maybe it would be less, I don't know. So I have a lot of those kind of thoughts, like I'm like, do I even? But then when I did this series in January of just the 5x7s and like finishing one every day, I was like, oh, this is my jam. I really like it.
Yeah.
I do. And yeah, which sometimes I feel like can make my work be like, oh, it's like smaller, like it's like more affordable. Like I don't know, like which like, kind of is definitely then some huge pieces, but yeah. So.
Well, it is all those things, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to ask you, because I wasn't sure if it was on purpose or.
Yeah.
One thing that I can say is that you're very prolific. Like, you've got a lot of
I
work.
do have a lot of them, yeah.
And that's pretty impressive, because a lot of artists don't. They take a lot of time to finish one piece.
Yeah.
And when you're knocking out these smaller ones, I mean, if you can fill the wall,
Yeah.
what does it matter?
Yeah,
And
that's true.
it really does fit into a lot of, everybody's
Yeah.
budget. They can
Yeah,
all
it's
afford
true.
something like that.
And like and wall space too. I find a lot of people that are like, oh, this would be perfect for like a little corner of my kitchen, sort of
Yeah.
a thing, or like
Or the
things like that.
office,
Yeah,
or-
yeah. And I think also it was like a space thing too. Now we're like have a 3-bedroom, but like for a while I lived in like, my husband and I were in a 1-bedroom apartment, and like my studio was just half of the living room. So like it was like a space thing too. I was like, I really don't have the space to like do a bunch of huge works, and so it's easier for me to like have my tiny ones. So yeah, I guess a lot of things for why tiny, but I do just really like it too.
Yeah. Well, again, it
Yeah.
fits. It also fits with the theme.
Yeah.
Right? Because they're little memories. They're little things from
Yeah.
the past and nostalgic little nuggets.
Snapshotty.
Snapshots.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a good way to put it. And so, I think if you had this church sign huge, I don't think it would be as effective.
It'd be a different.
It'd be a little bit
different
more
vibe.
in my face.
Yeah.
It'd have a little different meaning. Whereas this just reminded me of every little church sign I saw on that road, you know.
Yeah.
So you nailed it.
Oh, thank you.
Awesome. Well, Hannah, before we go here, you know, you have to go through the rapid fire questions.
Yep.
So what I like to do is ask these questions to give us a little better understanding of who you are.
Okay.
Right? You don't have to go into great details about why you choose what you choose.
Okay.
You just give me the answer.
Okay.
That's
Right,
half the
I'm
fun.
ready.
All right. So, coffee or tea?
I'm not a coffee drinker. I'm not much of a tea drinker either. I would say maybe tea, like a herbal tea. I do like
Okay.
fruit teas.
All right,
But-
maybe tea.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm a
That's
really
fine.
Juice. I like juice. I'll
We'll
put
allow
that
the
out.
maybes,
Yeah.
by the way.
Sorry.
No boths.
Okay, no boths. Got it.
Okay. Whataburger or Chick-fil-A?
Oh, that's really hard. I do feel like it depends on my mood. I'm gonna say Chick-fil-A
Okay.
is probably like my more constant for like a meal.
Okay.
But if I'm like want
But if
some
it's Sunday-
fries, yeah, that's
Sunday,
true.
you gotta
Not
go to
a lot, yeah.
Whataburger. All right. Cold pizza or cold spaghetti?
Cold pizza. Yeah.
All right. Big or small?
Small.
There you go.
Yeah.
Stone in your shoe or an itch you can't scratch?
Ooh, probably stone in my shoe. I feel like I wear a lot of sandals and that happens anyway.
All right. Museum quality or street level energy?
Probably street level
Okay.
energy.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah. I can see that. Michael's or Hobby Lobby?
I do like Hobby Lobby a lot. Yeah.
Okay. That's good. Trust your eye or trust your gut?
I can't say both. Like.
No.
I feel like maybe I know like it can sometimes lead you astray, but I don't know. There's a part of me that's like in my gut. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't know if that's gonna be a good painting, but my eye is like, no, I like it. It's gonna be good. Like
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe that's gut too.
All right.
Maybe.
We'll take
Yeah.
eye.
We'll go eye.
Eye gut.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Plan or no plan?
Plan. Yeah.
All right. Early bird or night owl?
Early bird. Yeah.
Okay. That
Yeah.
makes sense with the toddler.
Yeah. I was gonna say, but mostly by necessity. But yeah.
Okay. And the last
I
one,
like it.
art that whispers or art that shouts?
A whisper. Yeah.
Okay.
Whisper,
I can
yeah.
totally see that. Yeah. This stuff works great with whispering.
Thanks.
All right, well, Hannah, thank you so much for coming here today. I want to shout out your socials real quick before we
Yes.
go. You can check you out on Instagram at HannahBlade_art.
Yes.
Check out your Facebook page, Hannah Blade Fine Art. Your website, Hannah Blade Fine Art, and there's some really good videos up there you can grab too. And then also your Substack, hannahblade.substack.com.
Yeah.
right.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for being here.
Thank
We'll have to
you
do
so
this again
much.
when we get another series done
Yeah.
on the social media. But
Sounds good.
thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you.
We'll see you again.
Thank you.
Peace.